If you refuse to comply with my instructions, we will be getting a divorce, he said as he handed me the divorce papers. I knew this day would come sooner or later. Fine, then let's get a divorce, I replied calmly as I filled out the papers in front of him. To my surprise, he seemed stunned when I handed them back. Don't you understand? If we separate, you will be alone, he said, trying to reason with me. Alone? Yes, alone by myself, I responded. Is that all you have to say? He asked. That's enough. I have to pack up and move out, I told him as I busied myself with packing. What are you packing for? Moving out? He asked, puzzled. Isn't it obvious? I'm leaving you and filing for divorce. It's the perfect time for it, I explained. I married my husband Jason a few years ago, and we both work. We have no children, and I have been alone since my parents died in an accident during my first year of work. I was overjoyed to marry Jason because I wanted to start a family with him and have 2 children. I had high hopes for a bright future. However, the reality was far from that. After our wedding, Jason's attitude gradually became cold. Sarah, if I'm gone, you'll be a loner over again. Jason would always bring up this phrase whenever we got into a small argument. He attacked me by my weakness. And would always get into a fight because he complains about my housework. Is this stir vegetables for dinner tonight? The dishes for old people. Didn't I call you to ask what you want to eat today? You said whatever. Yes, but I still think a housewife should think what her husband wants to eat and cook it. I was in the mood for pacha today. Then say, so you should not without asking, you'd complain no matter what I cook, what? What did you? I work just as hard as you do, and I'm the only one who takes care of the housework. Don't talk like that. You say it before we got married that you like doing housework. It's true. I like it. But if you're always complaining about it, I don't want to do it anymore. I see what, no, I just thought you were being cheeky. If you are making that comment, it means you think less of me. I don't like that about you either. You're always reading into things. I don't want a wife who talks down to me like this. Here we go again. Next. He just starts shaking up the fact that I'm alone in the world. And then another phenomenal statement from Jason that he always. Well, maybe having kids will make your loneliness go away. Maybe it's time for us to have kids too. Jason never forgets to say this after an argument. When we just got married, I wanted to have a baby right away. But early on in our marriage, the husband who had been so kind to me was. Now that he has turned into the man who just complains, I'm hesitate about having children with him. It's true that I have no other relatives than Jason, but before I married him, I was leaving on my own. I have enough money to save. I'd rather not go back to being alone, but there are times when I would rather go back to being alone than have Jason threatened. If I had a child, I would spend the rest of my life being abused by him and he would abuse me in front of them. When I think about it, I just can't help it. I couldn't move forward with Jason, but he didn't like this either. Before we got married, you said you want the kids right away, so why are you so reluctant about having a baby after we got married? This is fraud. Isn't? If that's the case, why don't you make me feel comfortable to have kids? Are you going to complain about my cooking even in front of the kids like that and complaining about my housework or about the way I fold the clothes? I'm not complaining. I'm just saying what I think. That's just how it sounds to you because you're a tick. I guess your personality gets distorted if you don't have parents in your childhood. That's what I'm saying. What do you mean you're making a fool out of me? I'm not making a fool out of you. Jason replies with a goofy grin. The look on his face is the best proof that he's making a fool out of me. And to top it off, there's my mother-in-law. Any grandchildren yet? That's what I'm always asked when I visit my parents-in-law's house. That's right. You should tell her too. She's not helping at all. Sarah, what's going on? My mother-in-law stares at me. I couldn't say anything. Well, I guess there are things going. Jason, you should talk it over with Sarah. I talk to her all the time, but this woman, don't quote her, this woman, just make sure you and Sarah talk it out, okay? Okay. I understand. My mother-in-law doesn't talk too much. She's been living alone ever since her husband died. She's not a bad person, but she's always saying any grandchildren yet, and it's really tough on me. I can tell she's really looking forward to it, so that I could never tell her that I'm not sure if I want to marry your son because of his personality. I had no choice but to keep my mouth shut. Then my mother-in-law had an accident. I got a call from Jason and left. We're early to rush to the hospital. I guess I arrived early than he did. I'm sorry for this disturbing you, Mother. Are you all right? I'm fine. As you can see, I'm well. It's just that, I broke a bone in my leg. Oh my God. You don't have to cry like that. I just burst into tears. I'm sorry. I was afraid I might also lose you by an accident. I was so worried on the way here. Oh, well, I guess he didn't tell you. Well, I'm sorry I made you worry. I am sorry. You had to remember what happened to your parents. This was the first time my mother-in-law and I talked about a lot of things. You should go home now. No, but I'll wait for Jason to come. I'll go home with him. Then my mother-in-law sighed, he's not coming, so you can just go home. That's not. I am his mother. I know. It's sad, isn't it? And my mother-in-law was right. He didn't show up even after visiting hours. When I came home, he was watching TV. What are you doing? What do you mean? You called me to tell that your mother had an accident today, didn't you? So why did you come to the hospital? Oh, I thought you were. One is a nerve, right? She's alive anyway. Right, then it's not a big deal. She's the only mother you have. Right? Shut up. Just make me some food. I'm hungry. You haven't eaten. Of course not. Why should I spend my own money when you're going to cook? I am not doing it. I'm not cooking. I'm going to bed. Don't you dare talk to me like that. You know, if you made me angry, you divorced me, right? Then do it. I was hungry, but I was so annoyed by what Jason said and did that I stay in the bathroom, determined not to cook a meal for him. The next morning I woke up and he was already gone, and from that day on, he never came home. I guess he was hiding out at his parents' house. I just slept in there after work that day. I rushed to the hospital where my mother-in-law was. I didn't tell her about Jason. I didn't want to cause unnecessary worry to my mother-in-law who was in the hospital. I want to visit her every day while she was hospitalized. Thank you so much, Sarah. I know you and Jason are not getting along. Thank you so much for looking out for me in that situation. I'm sorry, you don't have to apologize. I could imagine what happened when we know that you didn't want to have kids. He must have done something to you. I didn't know what to tell my mother-in-law. All I could was keeping silent. A woman's intuition can be right. He's the one who made you worry about having children, so it's okay now. I was looking forward to having a grandchild too, and I drove you into a corner by asking you over and over again, I'm sorry. I am sorry. I couldn't live up to your expectations too. It was just as we were having this conversation that the daughter told us that the treatment would take more time, but she's about to discharge it from the hospital. She leaves alone. She will need someone to help her until her legs. So I came forward to help her. I talked to the company about it and they gave me permission to work remotely on a limited timeline. When I told my mother-in-law about it, she felt sorry for me to go through that, but I persuaded her strongly. On the day of the discharge from the hospital, I picked up my mother-in-law and arrived at my in-laws' house, but it was awkward to see Jason. He should still be at work at this time. I was supposed to meet him at night, and even near approached, I felt uncomfortable. My mother-in-law is looking at me strangely. Actually, we had a bit of fight with Jason. And he left the house, so we'll be seeing each other for the first time in a while. Today my mother-in-law is looking awkward. See each other where? This is the only place I can think of where he would go. Then my mother-in-law's face turned stern. I see. I'm sorry. Why are you apologizing? Jason is your precious son. I'm sure you're uncomfortable with the fact that I blame him for our girl. No, not at all. He's the kind of boy who never comes to visit me. What? He never came to visit you? No. I was mortified. My mother-in-law was in the hospital for 2 weeks and he didn't visit her once during that time. What an asshole. Well, he's not a sweet boy, is he? Well, you mean Sarah. I need you to calm down and listen to me. He doesn't have a key to this place, so he is not here. That means it's okay. I have an idea. Let's talk about you and me first. And then my mother-in-law made me a surprise offer. A week passed. And I was back in the house where I lived with Jason packing my bags. As I was packing my bags, I heard the front door open. Oh, just in time. I wanted to talk to you. I'm busy. How's Mom doing? Why don't you come see her for yourself? Huh? You are the one taking care of her, so I don't have to go. I mean, you are the one who's supposed to be taking care of Mom if you don't do what I tell you to do. We are divorced and he handed me with divorce papers. Sooner or later. This was bound to happen. Alright, then let's get a. I filled up the divorce papers in front of him. Alright, then I'll fight it myself. Jason was the one who gave me the divorce papers, but for some reason he's done. You don't get it, do you? Without me, you'll be all alone by yourself. Yeah. Oh, alone by myself. Is that all you want to say then? That's enough. I'm busy getting ready to move. Why are you getting ready to move out? What? Oh, it's obviously, isn't it? I was going to divorce you and move out. It's a perfect timing. In the end, then who will take care of Mom? Don't worry. I'll be there for your mother. Haha. You are an idiot. You know what? You won't get your inheritance by staking up for my. When Mom dies, I'll be the one to get the inheritance. And the only son. You are not my son anymore. Since I widened in surprise when my mother-in-law came out of my room. Oh. Why are you here, Mother? You need nursing care, don't you? I was here to help Sarah move out. You still be bastard. I can move on my own with these crutches. My only child is Sarah. I don't need a childhood is after my inheritance. Even when I'm not dead yet. You won't get anything. I'm divorcing her then. She's not entitled to the inheritance. I'm in the process of adopting a child. I am also in the process of disqualifying you from inheriting. You won't get any penny of my money. You oh ha. That's what I want. Kids. I knew this bitch will disqualify me. If I have kids, the grandchildren will be entitled to Mom's inheritance. I told you we need kids as soon as possible. You are really hopeless. You are an idiot more than anyone can imagine. If you have a child, I'll disqualify that child from inheriting again. Fuck you. You oh bitch. Jason tried to grab my mother-in-law. I quickly pushed him away, put my mother-in-law by the hand and left the house. Hey, are you his? A strange woman was standing in front of our house. Oh, it's you, you're the one he's having an affair with. What? Well, for now, I mean, did you write the divorce papers? Please get out of this house as soon as possible. I see. So Jason had rolled into this person's. I was surprised by the woman's sudden visit, but I had zero feelings about Jason's affair. I was rather excited that I could get alimony for this, and then Jason came after us. He flinched when he saw the face-to-face with his girlfriend, Juden one, who made her wait here. So you are having an affair? Make sure I get my alimony. Jason took their stunt, my mother-in-law, and I get into the car and drove away with him standing there. Then we went to the city office and filed the divorce papers. After that, I demanded alimony from both of them as I had declared. They made excuses, but their intense relationship was easily exposed through the free-spirited girlfriend, social media. They both transferred large sums of money to me. The cheating partner was after my mother-in-law's inheritance. She disappeared from my ex-husband's life. As soon as she found out that he was not going to get his inheritance, I guess they were very much. Jason and I were both after money, and he made several attempts to reconcile with me at my in-laws' house. However, his mother refused to see him. I had already blocked his contacts, so he couldn't call me. Once he even called from an unknown number, but I refused to answer it. Thankfully, my mother-in-law's leg has since recovered completely, and she is doing well with no after effects. I am very grateful to her for supporting my decision to end the marriage. Several years have passed, and I am still enjoying my life with my mother-in-law. I no longer feel alone, and we have formed a true family bond even though we are not related by blood. I will continue to spend my life with her and my own mother. Jason's actions were unforgivable, and I refuse to be with someone who would mistreat his wife and disregard her wishes. His reasons for wanting children were also terrible, and I believe he will never truly be happy. I wish Sarah and her mother all the happiness in the world. Thank you for watching, and please subscribe to our channel if you enjoyed this content. See you in the next video.